Well, and I think you're the first audience that's ever clapped the organist. Very good. Yeah. Welcome. Good afternoon, and we are really pleased to see you here today. And I just want to declare that the ceremony for the presentation of graduates of the Royal Veterinary College for the conferment of degrees and awards is now open. Please be seated.
Okay, now behave yourselves. Right? Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Stuart Reid, and it's my privilege to be the President and Principal here at the Royal Veterinary College, and particularly to welcome you to this very, very happy day here at Central Hall. Now, this venue has been, or was, the first venue for the General Assembly of the United Nations. It was also the venue for a Gary Barlow Christmas concert. And now here we are for a really important RVC graduation event. Now, I'm also told that outside, the lighting conditions at the moment are perfect. You've got some really nice architecture. You've got fabulous Westminster Abbey. You've got the Palace of Westminster. You've got this magnificent building. So if you can't get a good graduation photograph today, change the photographer. Okay. So what I'd like to do first of all is to introduce the podium party. At the far right is Lizzie Lockett, Chief Executive of the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons. Next to her is Dr Sue Paterson, the brand new President of the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons. Baroness Young, you've just met. David Church, I think, is known to one or two of you. Deputy Vice Principal. And I think Jill Maddison, who's Course Director for the BVetMed programme, and Sarah Batt-Williams, who's the Course Director for our nursing programmes. Could I just add a little personal note before I hand over to Imelda McGonnell, who will start the award of the Honorary Degrees. But I had the privilege of being at my own daughter's graduation last week at a different university in Edinburgh. I didn't have any of this on, I was just a dad. And so for all of you up there, it's absolutely okay. You can cry like a baby. I did. So without further ado, can I call on Imelda McGonnell to start the award of the Honorary Degrees? Thank you.
Chair, President and Principal, President, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Professor Robin Franklin. Robin Franklin is an outstanding scientist who has pioneered the field of myelin regeneration and its application to degenerative diseases of the nervous system in both humans and animals. He has published hundreds of papers and has raised many millions of pounds in research funding over a career that spans 35 years to date. He has trained many scientists and clinicians of both veterinary and human medicine that have also gone on to be leaders in their fields. He has been the recipient of many major honours and prizes throughout his remarkable career. Robin was born into a family of North London academics, all of whom worked in the arts and humanities, and Robin describes himself as an outlier, being fascinated by the natural world from a very early age. He recounts that the first time that his mother truly remembers him being animated was on a trip to the Natural History Museum when he was still a toddler in his pushchair. This fascination grew, and he describes how during his childhood, and much to his mother's horror, he would pick up dead animals and bring them home to dissect, which she would allow him to do, but only in the garden. And I'm sure this is something that resonates with many parents in today's audience. His interest in biology grew, and idyllic summers spent at a family friend's farm in North Devon cemented the idea of a career in veterinary medicine, and in particular farm animal medicine. He chose the RVC, which was the obvious choice. It was the local vet school. However, he soon found himself to be an outlier once again, in that he thoroughly enjoyed his preclinical teaching, which was something that the other students described as, and I quote, a purgatory that they had to endure before the clinical part of the course. Now, I'm sure that this is not something that our current graduates would recognise today. He was particularly inspired by preclinical neuroscience lectures, and this led to an intercalated year at UCL, where nervous system regeneration was a new and particularly hot topic. Robin returned to the RVC for his clinical years with a first-class degree in physiology, and this was the first inkling that his future might not lie in farm animal medicine. Despite that, he immersed himself in the clinical years of his veterinary degree with his eye on the dream job, which was farm practice in Devon at the end of it. When I asked Robin if he had any funny anecdotes from his undergraduate years that he was willing to share, he was somewhat coy, and he did say, if I'd been a betting man, I would not have put money on myself achieving much. His fellow RVC student, and now head of the vet school at Cambridge, Professor James Wood, remembered many stories, most of which I cannot tell in front of an audience, but with a nod to our graduating veterinary nurses in the audience, he recounted in one of Robin's very first consults after graduation, he was very surprised and was very pleased that a veterinary nurse helped him by explaining to him that rabbit teeth continue to grow through their lives. He thought this might be a new graduate's joke. After qualifying as a veterinary surgeon in 1988, the pull of research proved far too great, and he undertook a Wellcome Trust-funded PhD studentship in the lab of Bill Blakemore at Cambridge Vet School, investigating the process of myelin regeneration. For Robin, this was ideal. It combined his passion for neuroscience, but in a department of veterinary medicine, which he considered still very much being his tribe. In the back of his head was also the fact that if this research thing didn't work out, he could still go back to the dream job in Devon. Now, of course, I would not be here talking to you today if this had not worked out, and Robin's career has been stratospheric. After obtaining his PhD, focusing on transplanting stem cells to regenerate damaged myelin, he was awarded 2 very coveted Wellcome Trust fellowships to further this work and establish his own research group. In 1999, he was appointed to a lectureship at Cambridge Vet School, rising very quickly through the academic ranks, and in 2005 became Professor of Neuroscience, and only the second person to obtain a personal chair at Cambridge Vet School. During these years, Robin became a leading authority on myelin regeneration, identifying the mechanisms by which oligodendrocyte precursor cells, a type of stem cell found in the brain, can remyelinate nerves in the normal central nervous system, and uncovered many reasons why this process fails in demyelination diseases, most notably multiple sclerosis in humans. This mechanistic focus on precursor stem cells led to Robin being appointed Chair of Stem Cell Medicine in Cambridge Medical School and Head of Translational Science at the Wellcome Trust MRC Cambridge Stem Cell Institute in 2014. And most recently in 2022, Robin moved to Altos Labs at the Cambridge Institute of Science. He has become the world's leading expert on remyelination, in particularly in identifying that in multiple sclerosis, stem cells in the brain initially repair lesions, but with age they lose this ability, leading to secondary progressive disease. This has led to a whole new clinical approach to the disease, and actually many other degenerative diseases of the nervous system, and several clinical trials have taken place to identify drugs that might help rejuvenate these stem cells. In recent years, the significant contribution that Robin has made to the field of regenerative medicine has been recognized by a plethora of prizes. In 2016, he was elected a Fellow of the Academy of Medical Sciences. In 2018, he was awarded the Baroness Prize for Innovation in Multiple Sclerosis Research, which recognizes outstanding innovation and originality. In 2021, he was the recipient of the King Faisal Prize for Medicine, which is the Eastern World's Nobel Prize, and in 2022 was elected Fellow of the Royal Society. For any academic to have achieved any single one of these honours would be a lifetime's achievement. To have been awarded all of these is truly remarkable. When I asked Robin what contribution to science he was most proud of, he cited the creating of a whole new field investigating mechanisms of remyelination, but then very quickly started talking about his current work being the most exciting that he has ever done. This demonstrates that despite all of his amazing achievements to date, he's constantly excited about the future. He spoke with equal passion about the opportunities that his degree in veterinary medicine had afforded him, and his enthusiasm for supporting veterinary graduates to pursue careers in research. Our honorary graduate is both an inspiration and a role model to which we can all aspire. And so, President and Principal, I present Professor Robin Franklin for the award of degree of Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, honoris causa.
Better do that. Chair, Principal, I present to you Professor Mike Herrtage. Professor Herrtage has been at the vanguard of small animal internal medicine and diagnostic imaging for more than 30 years. And by any criteria you choose, his veterinary career is littered with one outstanding success after another. After graduating from the University of Liverpool, Mike spent a short term in first opinion practice in Ongar in Essex, before taking up a series of posts at the University of Cambridge Vet School, starting with the position of house surgeon in the veterinary hospital and culminating ultimately as the Dean of the University of Cambridge's Veterinary School. There's an expression that many of you have heard of, jack of all trades, master of none. Over a 40-year career, Professor Herrtage has demonstrated that he's not only a jack, but also a master of all trades. As an educator, Mike has few peers. The list of over 70 diplomats who have gained their specialist qualifications, both European and RCVS, in small animal medicine and diagnostic imaging, under Mike's guidance, is an impressive testimony to his skills as both a leader and a postgraduate student mentor. Despite these specialists that he's mentored, he has also legendary status as an undergraduate educator. I am told that weekly radiology rounds at Cambridge, supervised by Mike, were a beacon of primary care clinical guidance and common sense for multiple generations of recently and not so recently qualified veterinary surgeons, long before anyone had heard of PDP or even a logical approach to clinical problem solving. I'm also told that on one particular day, he was reviewing a radiograph of a migrating foreign body in a dog's chest, and his students were left in awe, as he was not only able to identify what particular structure within the thoracic cavity the foreign body was located, what it was, which was plant material, and more specifically, that it was barley, not wheat, and even more specifically, that 66% of it had been consumed. Now, it takes quite a lot to impress Cambridge veterinary students, but Professor Herrtage certainly did. That might be a possibly apocryphal story, but it's illustrative of the high esteem with which the staff and students alike hold Professor Herrtage. But yet, despite these specialist skills, he is as happy seeing first opinion cases at the local RSPCA clinical centre as he is seeing those referrals in any of his specialist disciplines, which include medicine, imaging, dermatology, and cardiology. He always brings donuts to the RSPCA clinic, just tells you he's thinking about the students, and he just blends in as one of the clinicians on the primary care rota. He's always had that wonderful ability to make anyone he talks to or interact with feel special, no matter who they are. This genuine empathy for others has meant he's found himself taking more time than perhaps advisable to help people understand their animals' problems. As many of you in the audience already know, owners of companion animals can be extremely precious and on occasions irrational. But in working in the front line, Mike has always been the model of calmness and tolerance. Along with Dick White and Neil Gorman, he was part of a triumvirate who looked after one of the most precious owners that has ever existed, far more so than Tricky Woo and James Herriot books, the esteemed film producer Stanley Kubrick. Some of you are nodding. Clockwork Orange, 2001: A Space Odyssey, Spartacus, Dr. Strangelove. Anyway, it's not about Stanley Kubrick, it's about Mike. The film producer Stanley Kubrick would call Mike at any time of the day or night when one of his cats would so much as sneeze, appropriately or inappropriately. Mike would answer the phone and patiently assuage Mr. Kubrick's anxieties until the next call, which could well be 3 hours later when the cat sneezed again. Legend also has it that Mr. Kubrick once asked Mike, how would he know when one of his cats was dead? Instead of suggesting it would be obvious because the cat food wouldn't disappear quite so quickly, Mike spent literally hours on several occasions calmly talking him through the signs of death to not only a spellbound Mr. Kubrick, but also equally spellbound Cambridge veterinary students. Unfortunately, despite all that effort, I'm reliably told that Mr. Kubrick never informed Mike about what the meaning or the ending of 2001: A Space Odyssey, so it remains a mystery. This empathy and enthusiasm to help people grasp the basics and intricacies of veterinary medicine has meant he continues to be in high demand as both a national and international veterinary educator for both primary care and highly specialised veterinary clinical practice. Away from the clinical front line, Professor Herrtage has also been extremely active. It seems hard to believe now, but the well-established structures of the European Board of Veterinary Specialisation we see in 2023 would not exist if it weren't for the vision, drive and commitment of Professor Herrtage, who worked tirelessly through the early 90s to create the EBVS, serving as its first president and setting up the processes and thus the hugely successful programs the EBVS now oversees. To mark his substantial contribution to its creation and subsequent success, he received the European Board of Veterinary Specialisations Award in 2018. From a utilitarian perspective, his work around European specialisation alone would make Professor Herrtage a worthy recipient of our honorary degree. But he has contributed so much more. Although now mainly known in internal medicine circles as a pioneering endocrinologist, Professor Herrtage's early publications were in a broader range of disciplines, including neurology and dermatology. He's always had that insatiable curiosity that characterises all good clinicians and in particular clinical scientists. That curiosity and drive to find an answer has led to him documenting for the first time many diseases in the United Kingdom, including leishmaniasis, fucosidosis in English Springer Spaniels, Labrador Retriever myopathy, and von Willebrand's disease, to name but a few. His huge contribution to the literature can be measured in the numerous publications, textbooks, professional articles he's authored. As would be anticipated with such an outstanding career, Mike has been awarded numerous honours, and we'd be here far too long if I was going to run through even the most prestigious, but I do think it's worth mentioning a sprinkling of the gold dust that he has acquired over the years. In 2014, he was awarded the World Small Animal Veterinary Association's International Award for Scientific Achievement for Outstanding Contributions to Veterinary Science. In 2016, he received the Kennel Club International Canine Awards Lifetime Achievement Award in recognition of a career dedicated to improving canine health and welfare. In 2019, he was awarded the BSAVA Beaujolais Award for outstanding international contributions to the field of small animal practice or science in their widest context. And in 2021, the Dalrymple Champneys Cup and Medal by the British Veterinary Association for outstanding services to the advancement of veterinary medicine and science. And finally, in 2022, he was awarded the Queen's Medal by the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons, which is the highest honour that the RCVS can bestow on an individual veterinary surgeon in recognition of someone who has achieved a highly distinguished career with sustained and outstanding achievements throughout. In so many ways and from so many perspectives, Professor Herrtage has been a role model for multiple generations of veterinary students and unmeasurable numbers of graduate veterinarians from all parts of the profession and all parts of the world. Chair, Principal, I present to you Professor Mike Herrtage for the award of the degree of Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, honoris causa.
Chair, President, I present to you Dr. Gladys Kalema-Zikusoka. Dr. Kalema-Zikusoka is an RVC alumna who, since her time with us, has gone on to break barriers, lead new disciplines, collect a plethora of international awards, and quite rightly, and perhaps most importantly, earn a well-deserved place on the RVC's wall of distinguished graduates in Camden. This is Dr. Gladys Kalema-Zikusoka's second visit to the Royal Veterinary College this summer, having spoken to staff and students about her career thus far. Excellent fodder for this oration. Sitting in Gladys's audience in May, I was struck by how this was not someone who waits for opportunities to come to her. Gladys left her native Uganda to study, first gaining a broad secondary school education in numerous countries, including the UK, then moving to London to study at the Royal Veterinary College. In the early stages of her time in London, Dr. Kalema-Zikusoka was successful in persuading the Kaluka Charitable Trust to support her veterinary degree. This experience was, no doubt, a forerunner for her future career in wildlife health, where a resourceful approach to funding conservation work is a day-to-day necessity. As a student at the RVC, Gladys immersed herself in both her studies and the societies available to our students. She also kept her eyes open for opportunities to develop on her primarily domestic animal training, and so spent time at London Zoo, Twycross, and Longleat Safari Park. Having obtained a bachelor's degree in veterinary medicine in 1995, becoming an alumna of the Royal Veterinary College, Gladys initially returned to Uganda. And that was when things started to get really interesting. Inevitably, those first few clinical cases one deals with after graduation can be a mixture of daunting and exciting. This is enhanced if you find yourself in a position with no colleague to back you up. In Uganda, Gladys faced the twin challenges of developing her clinical practice whilst at the same time being the country's first wildlife vet, developing and leading her country's capacities in this area. In time, Gladys saw the need for further specialist training and embarked on a residency training program at the North Carolina University in Zoo and Wildlife Medicine, hosted by the North Carolina Zoological Park. 2 decades on from that, we are pleased to host both zoo and wildlife residencies at the RVC, but this is still an area of training under development in the sector. And so at the time, this was training that very few individuals pursued, especially those from outside of the United States. Pioneering again. An outbreak of scabies and the investigation around it sent Dr. Kalema-Zikusoka down an interesting path. This outbreak had been linked back to a human outbreak in a local village. This, combined with research which she had carried out on bovine tuberculosis, had established the idea of the important connection between health of wildlife and of humans. Gladys developed an idea for a non-governmental organisation which would consider the health of both groups within the same conversation. And when pitching this NGO, the idea for conservation through public health was born. The field of One Health is based around an understanding that human health, wildlife health, the health of our domestic animals, and the environment in which we all live are intrinsically connected, and that interventions in one will have influences, both positive and negative, in other spheres. The discipline of One Health is often misunderstood, but Gladys's vision exemplifies it perfectly, and she established herself as an early leader in this field. As this work developed over time, Gladys's international recognition has grown. She is the recipient of the Edinburgh Medal, the Sierra Club Earth Care Award, is a National Geographic explorer, and is a United Nations champion of the Earth. So there is great hope for anyone that doesn't pass their first year exams at the first attempt. Gladys's long publication list is testament to her scientific rigour and international influence. And so I return to Gladys's visit in May. Camden's Great Hall was more full than I can ever remember for an evening talk. Guest lecturers whose content will not be appearing on forthcoming exams do not always draw the largest of crowds, although the title, Walking with Gorillas, may have helped. However, the room was full, a mixture of staff and students. The talk was followed by a book signing, and it says a huge amount about Gladys's influence that one of her former lecturers from over 20 years ago happily took his place at the end of a huge line and queued for over an hour to have his book signed. It also says a great deal about that professor. Gladys, I did not queue, and I have my copy backstage if you've got a few minutes afterwards. At the end of the evening, a colleague tapped me on the shoulder and offered his condolences. He commented that he would not wish to be in my shoes as RVC's Wild Animal Health lecturer when the inevitable deluge of emails came in the next day by students inspired by Gladys's speech and career. And my colleague was correct. Gladys has inspired and continues to inspire. Her name regularly features in meetings of the British Veterinary Zoological Society, in which her past contributions are well remembered. Aside from that, I'm in regular contact with a recent graduate who is currently carrying out PhD studies on gorillas, having first done an RVC undergraduate project working with Gladys in Uganda. Gladys and I have chatted recently about a longer-term relationship where more of our students would be able to benefit from such an experience and contribute towards a hugely worthy cause. My final inspiration is related to family. I first met Gladys at the London Veterinary Show a few years ago, and she immediately introduced me to her husband, Lawrence, and so I am pleased that he's able to be here today. When presenting to us a few weeks ago, Gladys was accompanied by her sons, Indigo and Tendo, even taking the opportunity to plug their own books. Gladys is clearly able to involve her family and benefit from their support, and balancing their needs with a hugely successful career is possibly even more inspirational than the accomplishments of the career itself. I hope to learn a great deal from you, Gladys, in this respect. I've briefly outlined the awards bestowed, the barriers broken, and the inspiring leadership. And so, President and Principal, I present Dr. Gladys Kalema-Zikusoka for the award of Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, honoris causa.
So I'm feeling a bit of a loser, actually, after all that. So, what wonderful, inspirational careers. But one thing is for certain, each one of our honorary graduates started where you at the front are sat today. And so it's a great pleasure that I now invite Sarah Batt-Williams to start the next phase of our graduation ceremony. Sarah.
Chair, Principal, I present to you those candidates who have achieved the foundation degree in science in veterinary nursing. Holly Catherine Barringer. Keely Bishop. Chloe Jane Broom. Hannah Catherine Brown. Kezia Christine Chalk. Nicola Chari. Abigail Beatrice Louise Coffey. Charlotte Emily Crabb. Olivia Sophie Cunliffe. Grace Cutler. Jessica Lauren Davey. Chloe Danes. Catherine Elizabeth Wyman Fowler. Jade Emily Goddard. Laura Caitlin Hurley. Zoe Lee Keeley. Laura Kennedy. Mandy Hannah Laird. Jessica Kathleen Lone. Lauren Marsh. Amy Louise Middleton. Callie Marie Mills. Joanna Mitchell. Emma Ann Nicholson. Helena Christina Natalia O'Brien. Shannon Mary O'Gorman. Eleanor May Perry. Amber Anita Marie Phillips. Tatiana Isabel Racis. Katie Emily Reid. Amy Lily Ruffle. Tegan Brooke Searle. Victoria Sydney Kiter. Olivia Simone Stoffberg. Matilda Tang. Maisie Louise Tanner. Elizabeth Jane Tompkins. Caris Victoria Pearson Underwood. William Alexander Vickers. Freya Matilda Sophie Wheatley. Sky Sophie Eden White. Sahar Zagar. Chair, Principal, I present to you those candidates who have achieved the Bachelor of Science in Veterinary Nursing. Sarah Grace Adcock. Bethany Sarah Bell. Olivia May Dean. Casey Laura Ellis. Lydia Jordan Firth. Flora Fox. Mia Abigail Haig. Gabby Hadger. Rebecca Christina Hibbins Butler. Laura Hitchens. Charlotte Matthews. Bethany Ann Mugridge. Olivia Charlotte Nichols. Miller Jolene Osborne. Simran Eva Vernon. Simone Georgina Wood. Emma Charlotte Wiles. And Arti Safara. And that concludes the candidates who have achieved a Veterinary Nursing Award. Please join us in congratulating them.
Chair and Principal, I present to you those candidates who have achieved the Bachelor of Veterinary Medicine. Anna Teresa Adrian. Natalie Jane Afford. Thomas Mitchell Allen. Jacqueline Andrade. Lauren Arukawu. Emma Arietta. Linnea Serene On Gornaroop. Karina Elizabeth Austin. Jennifer Athena Barnard. Tilly Bartelt. Alexandra Elizabeth Macchiarello Bartlett. Erin Lily Batstone. Annie Beach. Maxim Bembanov. Georgia Chelsea Benson. Divya Sitharam Biligigre. Molly Birch. Maisie Alice Elizabeth Bird. Maddison K. Blakeman. Jade Lauren Bolt. Sophie Bowen Carpenter. Elizabeth Brenhouse. Ellie Mae Brown. Lucy Alexandra Brown. Rachel Shea Brownell. Angelina Lillian Gomez Burke. Anne Elizabeth Burns. Charlotte Emily Isabella Butcher. Janelle Corno. Okay. Chloe Cassie. Emily May Castleman. Angela Chang. Ha Young Emily Chang. Emily Corrine Charles. Jessica Emma Charles. Maxwell? No, Maxwell. Yeah. And Shi Ching. Rebecca Louise Cherry. Felix Chung. Eve Louise Clark. Hunter Michael Clark. Caitlin Sophia Clark. Molly Clark. Sophie Nicole Clark. Olivia Alice Clayton. Cameron Murray Clegg. Katie Clover. Aidan Kyle Coe. Emily Hannah Jane Collings. Daniel Nathan Cork. Natasha Cotham Cartledge. Leah Elodie Suzanne Courtney Wells. Nina Kulma Whitlow. Letitia Cuna Otero Ribeiro. Eleanor Mary Dibble. Luba Jonova. Sarah Donashsi Mentoemond. Andrew John Douglas. Simone Driver Matthews. Heather Ann Durkin. Marina Duvenik. Sarah Janine Dwyer. Hannah Eddie Margaret Edgar. Neve Kate Edwards. Rachel Page Elliott. Rebecca Louise Emeny. Zoe Emsden. Grace Sarah Flaherty. Y. Lam Stephanie Fong. Charlotte Lee Sien Fu. Maggie Frial. Hannah Page Friedman. Kyle James Garnett. Maya Bess Yuye Gitta Fox. Macy Jermaine Glenn. Danielle Taylor Golds. Bethany Nicole Gordon. Layla Jane Gowers. Emily Christine Grayburr. Autumn Rose Gray. Jasmine Charlotte Gregory. Joanna Grenfell. Callum James Griffiths. Luke Gunter. Nicole Anne-Marie Habelman. Alex Joseph Hall. Anna Jane Hardcastle. Sydney Catherine Harrington. Mia Olivia Harris. Samantha Lauren Hatfield. Toby William Hay. Lindsay Cora Hebert. Rebecca Abney Hederer. Rebecca Hernandez. Matilda Alice Eleanor Herrtage Nowell. Joanne Gar Yan Ho. Michael Jonathan Ho. Alexandra Ann Hobson. Emily Rose Hocking. Anna Kate Hockley. Laura Amanda Holliday. Brianna Marie Hozu. Jessica Amy Howe. Maisie Beth Howson. Huijian Huang. Amy Ann Hudson. Bronwyn Grace Hume. Megan Elizabeth Herf. Lillian May Hurst. Hannah Hussain. Florence Rebecca Jenkins. Carolyn Mari Jennings. Jared Michael Johnston. Valeria Kalassi. Samson Can. Melissa Cahan. Isabel Thompson Keane. Lauren Rebecca Dipchan Keminar. Lauren Ashley Kenny. Chelsea Maria Khan. George Benedict Khan. Georgina Louise Kilby. Eleanor Kitchen. Sarah Fisher Kramer. Sonia Krunetskaya. Aishan Fatma Kupeli. Savannah Grace Anna Lee Kate Lehman. Sophie Jane Lester. Sarah Eliza Hurst Lewis. Rose Linehan. Kong Shun Lo. Lauren Ashley Macefield. Christina Nicole Mack. Mika Manhout. Hannah Emily Mallon. Abigail Poppy Maris. Gabriella Samuel Mascara. Lowry Meskel. Charlotte Jessica Mason. Abby Louise McNeil. Chloe Isabella Megath. Mary Catherine Mehigan. Abby Rose Middleton. Corrine Millington. Samantha Joy Minerd. Yashaswi Kashori Modak. Deanna Rosamond Molsher. Natalie Eva Mostrel. Catherine Rebecca Jane Moday. Remy Maya Jody Munn. Kate Murphy. Andrea Catherine Nordy. Shrina Nayi. Michaela Whitney Nee Chambers. Noemi Vivian Nemesh. Charlotte Olivia Irene Nichols. Emily Catherine Nichols. Oliver Simon Norse. Lewis Michael Oakey. Josephine Elizabeth O'Kelly. Maeve Catherine O'Neill. Catherine Grace Owens. Rosamond Teresa Clemency Owens. Erin Christine Packard. Karjeni Pahirathan. Amardeep Singh Panasa. Janelle Park. Daniel Thomas Patterson. Nathaniel Peleg. Rebecca Alice Phillips. Joshua Mark Pollins. Lauren Elizabeth Pound. Jake Powell. Emily Victoria Pringle. Lauren Jade Prisk. Victoria Elizabeth Pine Mercier. Afsi Aliyah Qureshi. Christy Deason Rattigan. Maureen Catherine Reiser. Eliza Noemi Marie Ray. Amy Helen Reynolds. Ariana Brooke Rizzi. Adam Thomas Robbins. Megan Ann Roberts. Alicia Louise Robbins. George David Robinson. Jamie Leon Robson. April Patricia Rochford. Andrea Susana Rodriguez. Melinda Marie Ressals. Chloe Jenna Rosen-Traiteur. Ben Lewis Rossendale. Megan Kira Rowe. Megan Rutherford. Robert Kevin Ryan Torres. Alexandra Sadler. Claudia Mercedes Sanchez. Selena Sanderson. Nicole Marie Shelzo. Amanda Dahl Schlegel. Rani Karpen Schoenhaus. Sierra Danielle Schottmeyer. Grace Elizabeth Scotcher. Mesa Sarah Shah. Annabelle Valerie Shelton. Amita Shenas. Alana Ray Sinnott. Sondra Nicole Slivoska. Aneta Slobodova. Oscar John Smoker. Narakanti Sunadi. Katie May Spokes. Chloe Squires. Zoe Louise Stybee. Sian Eloise Stokes. Courtney Emma Sturgis. Jack Taffender. Kimberly Louise Tan. Me Shui Michelle Tay. Daniela Terranova Martinez. Sophie Isabella Thomas. William Thomas. Legend Alexandra Thurman. Deanna Catalina Claudia Treba. Jessie Alice Tuckley. Cameron James Turton. Vilma Vortavera. Valeria Villegas Aguadelo. Caitlin Elizabeth Wachtel. Danielle Shannon Walker. Colette Eloise Patricia Ward. Sydney Michelle Mullard Weil. Philip Wedden. Ellie Weldrake. Lucy Elizabeth Wildblood. Mary Rose Wilkinson. Rebecca Wilkinson. Abby Jade Williams. Ellen Anwell Williams. Eleanor Wilson. Sarah Vitovska. Wong Sin Tong Clarice. Doris Kuhn Yu Ti Wong. Jade Wong Kai Wong. Lauren Amanda Wood. Chantel Woodward Isles. Josephine Yeo. Katie Louise Youngman. That concludes the candidates who have achieved a Bachelor of Veterinary Medicine. Please join us in congratulating them.
We're not finished yet, you know that, don't you? So I think as one or two of you passed, I said, congratulations, doctor, and it got a big smile on your face. I was maybe a little bit premature because technically, although you now are graduates, you're not yet members of the veterinary profession. And so technically, you're not under their jurisdiction yet, and you're not under RVC's jurisdiction yet, so you can go crazy if you really wanted to. So, yeah. Anyway. I'd now like to hand over to Lizzie Lockett, the Chief Executive of the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons, who, by the glare I've just got, means I've just stolen her line, I think. Anyway, Lizzie.
Thank you, Stuart, and yes, you indeed have just stolen my line. Thank you for that. So I'm delighted to be here this afternoon for this section of the proceedings, the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons admission ceremony. I hope that those of you who are about to become fully fledged veterinary surgeons and registered veterinary nurses will understand the significance of what is about to take place when, shortly, the RCVS President, Dr Sue Paterson, will ask you to make your declaration and become a member of the college. But for those family and friends who may not be aware, I'll just take a moment to explain. Although the Royal Veterinary College and the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons sound very similar and are often confused, we have actually very different roles. While the RVC is a veterinary school, and global #1 at that, the RCVS is principally a statutory regulator, although we also have a role under our Royal Charter to lead the professions as well. So veterinary surgeons need to be registered with the college in order to practice in the UK, and veterinary nurses need to be registered with us in order to carry out specific delegated tasks. Being on the register means meeting educational standards, which you've all done proudly this morning, and staying on the register means keeping up to date and abiding by our Code of Professional Conduct. But people do get confused between the two organisations. This means that when Mr. Angry rings up me to say that our students have been running amok in Camden, I can pass him on to Stuart very quickly. And meanwhile, when Stuart gets a call to say that veterinary surgeon X has done something inappropriate, I'm sure he has great pleasure passing that straight back to us. And of course, it was particularly confusing the year that the RVC principal was also the RCVS president, and he stole my lands that year too. So without further ado, I'm delighted to hand over to our president, Dr Sue Paterson, to invite you to be admitted to the college in front of all the amazing people who have helped you to get this far.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you, Lizzie. So this is the part of the proceedings when you formally take up the title of veterinary surgeon or registered veterinary nurse, the culmination of all those years and years of hard work. What I'm going to do in a minute is I'm going to ask you all to stand up, all our new graduates, and we're going to do our declarations with you all, and then I'm going to do the reply to then our nurses and then our vets. And then what I'm going to ask the rest of the audience to do is to show their appreciation. And the last round of applause, to be honest, was pretty poor. So next time I ask you, I'd really like you to try and raise the roof if you possibly can. Yeah? So I'd like to invite both our new veterinary surgeons and veterinary nurse graduates to please stand. and I'd like you to repeat after me, line by line. I promise and solemnly declare that I will pursue the work of my profession with integrity and accept my responsibilities to the public, my clients, the profession, and the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons. And that above all, my constant endeavour will be to ensure the health and welfare of animals committed to my care. Thank you. I'd now like the veterinary surgeons to please be seated and the veterinary nurses please to remain standing. Where are you all? Over there. And I'm going to read my response to you. In the name of the Council of the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons, and by the virtue of the power conferred upon them by the Royal Charter and by the Act of Parliament, I do hereby admit you as an associate of the said Royal College, and by the same power do confer upon you the right to be styled registered veterinary nurses, and to be known and deemed and recognised henceforth as duly qualified members of the veterinary nursing profession. Wait for it. Please sit down, and if the veterinary surgeons will now stand up. In the name of the Council of the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons, and by the virtue of the power conferred upon them by the Royal Charter and the Act of Parliament, I do hereby admit you as members of the Royal College, and by the same power do confer upon you the right to be styled veterinary surgeons, and to be known and deemed and recognised henceforth as duly qualified members of the profession. If I can ask the nurses to stand up, please, again. And now this is the time to raise the roof. Thank you. Well done. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Please be seated. I can quite safely say that Gary Barlow didn't get a reception like that, so I'd just like to say a few words, if I may. Firstly, thank you so much for inviting me to spend this very special day with you all here in London, and many congratulations and welcome to what I consider to be probably the best professions in the world. You bet. I have been a vet for longer than I have not been a vet, and I still consider it a huge privilege, as our oath says, to ensure the health and welfare of animals committed to my care. Many of you will go into primary care small animal practice, others into equine or production work, But remember, a veterinary science degree equips you to follow a very varied career path. It may be that your dream job is driving around the Yorkshire Dales, tending to production animals, and the occasional small brachiocephalic dog that belongs to an elderly spinster. However, it's worth noting that as well as clinical practice, there are vets and vet nurses in lots of other sectors of our professions, in medical and veterinary research, in local and central government, in international animal rescue centres, in the civil service, in the army, and in the pharmaceutical companies, to name just a few. The world is very much your oyster. So if after a few months or years you find what appeared to be the dream job isn't anymore, don't forget, as a veterinary science graduate, the opportunities are endless and you can find something more fulfilling. And of course, whichever path you follow, the RCVS is there to support you to be the very best vet or vet nurse that you can. I just wanted to share with you a little experience of my first night on call when I qualified. I qualified a long time ago, and in those days, we were very much thrown in at the deep end, and you sank or swam. And I can vividly remember that first night on call in mixed practice in Devon. It was to a farrowing sow. Well, as a Cambridge graduate, I'd done a lot of pig medicine. I'd filled a lot of food hoppers and shoveled quite a lot of pig poo on my animal husbandry EMS. I put on a lot of sterile boiler suits and looked at a lot of production figures as part of my clinical rotations and my clinical EMS, but I had never been to a dystocia in a sow. You can imagine the scene as I ran around the practice flat at 2 a.m. in the morning in my PJs, searching for my pig farrowing notes, wishing I'd paid more attention in those lectures, or if I'm truthful, if I'd actually even gone to those lectures. Then continuing to frantically flick through my illustrated Pigs R Us Guide to Farrowing as I pulled into the drive of the farm. Remember, there was no Dr. Google or smartphone apps in those days. All I had was a bleep and a textbook. I'm also sure you can then visualize the picture as I pick my way between the farrowing crates in the piggery to be met by 140 kilogram, purple-faced, snorting, sweating vision. And that was just the farmer. True story. Needless to say, we vets are resourceful sorts, and by applying first principles, convincing myself it was just a large, hairless bulldog, I successfully delivered 12 pink, snuffling bulldog puppies for their piggy mother. I suspect that it was that first traumatic night on call that squashed my dreams to become an internationally recognized porcine vet, Miss Piggy. And I became a veterinary dermatologist instead. Of course, it's very different now. There is no doubt being entrusted with the well-being of a precious family pet, or a prize-winning bull, or a 250,000-head poultry unit can be stressful and pressured. But as you start your career, the RCVS has a well-developed support structure in place for its new graduates, both vets and vet nurses. The Royal College, as a compassionate regulator, provides a suite of resources to support you. The RCVS Academy, housed on the RCVS website, is free for vets and nurses and contains a range of courses for career development, personal leadership, right the way to the Veterinary Graduate Development Programme, or VET GDP. The VET GDP, which was launched in 2021, is designed to ensure that going into your first job, whatever it may be, you'll have the benefit of a trained veterinary mentor to help guide and support you. Our Code of Professional Conduct insists that any practice that employs a new graduate must provide that support through a trained VET GDP advisor. So do make sure wherever you go, an appropriate framework is in place to give you that support. The VET GDP allows you to build your confidence and competence by starting with relatively simple cases before moving on to manage more complex cases, facilitating your development into an experienced clinician. As well as support at a practice level, the advice team at the RCVS are on the end of a phone or an email away during the day, Monday to Friday, to provide you with confidential advice around ethical, educational, or professional matters. Do not be afraid to use them. If things aren't going too well for you and you're feeling stressed, you have mental health problems, the RCVS-funded Mind Matters initiative, the MMI, which helps to improve the mental health and well-being of the whole veterinary team, has resources on its website to support you as well. Or if you're desperate in urgent cases, you can use VetLife, which supplies confidential help for your health, well-being and financial troubles 24/7, 365 days of the year. However, as I finish, I can safely say if I had my time again, I wouldn't change a thing. With the exception, perhaps, of the odd farrowing sow, I have enjoyed every single minute of being a veterinary surgeon, and I wish you all every success as you start your new careers. Thank you. I now call upon the Principal and his colleagues to complete the conduct of the graduation ceremony of the Royal Veterinary College.
Better put them on. Chair, Principal and President, I present to you those graduates who are to be awarded prizes at the 2023 graduation ceremony. From the Foundation Degree in Science in Veterinary Nursing, winner of the prize for first place, Laura Caitlin Hurley. From the Bachelor of Science in Veterinary Nursing, winner of the prize for first place, Flora Fox. And winner of the SU prize for most outstanding contribution to RVC Students' Union and Student Life, Emma Charlotte Wiles. From the Bachelor of Veterinary Medicine, winner of the Coleman Medal for the Best Equine Project, Maxim Bembanov. Winner of the Royal Agricultural Society of England Prize for Research Project 2, Macy Jermaine Glenn. Winner of the More Done Foundation Prize for Research Project 2, Abby Rose Middleton. Winner of the SU Award for Extracurricular Excellence, Jack Taffender. Winner of the MediVet Prize for Best Essay, Kimberly Louise Tarm. Winner of the CVS Aspiring General Practice Award, Vilma Helena Vortavara. And winner of the Derek Taverner Prize for Best Research Project 2, Eleanor Wilson. And winner of the SU Prize for Most Outstanding Contribution to RVC... Wait. So eager. Winner of the SU Prize for Most Outstanding Contribution to RVC Students' Union and Student Life, Chantel Woodward-Eilis. Chair, Principal and President, I present to you Macy Jarman Glenn, winner of the University of London Betchwell Prize for first place over all years of the Bachelor of Veterinary Medicine course. Chair, Principal and President, I present to you those members of staff who have been awarded prizes. The James B. Student-led Awards for an outstanding individual contribution to student education for 2023 are, for going the extra mile, Andrew Crook. For top tutor, Troy Gibson. And for the creative curriculum, Anke Hendricks. And finally, the Betts Prize. The Betts Prize is open to any member of or contributor to the college for outstanding contribution to the advancement of the college far beyond the call of duty. This year's Betts Prize winner for exceptional commitment and outstanding contribution to the Royal Veterinary College far beyond the normal call of duty, my great pleasure to announce, is Brian Cox. That concludes the awards of the prizes.
Congratulations, everybody. I think we all have appreciated that the RVC is all about people, and we as staff can only do our job with a student body that does it told most of the time. But we also rely heavily on the Students' Union in conducting our affairs, and it's a bittersweet occasion at graduation because it's at this point that we see a change of officers. So in saying a massive thank you and a goodbye to Legend Thurman, we say a massive hello to Esri Perdo. So I call you to stage. So, could I add my congratulations to all of you today, and as I address you as colleagues. That's a scary thought. Anyway, when I first spoke to you today, I was standing between you and your awards. Now, here I am standing between you and the celebrations that undoubtedly you're going to enjoy with friends, family, supporters this evening. But before you do head off into the finest eateries in London, where I'm assuming somebody else will be paying, or wherever you're destined, I'll offer a few words of congratulations. The RVC is a very special place, and just recently I was speaking to a graduate from some years ago, and he said, "Stuart, you don't realize how special it is." He said, It was the scene of my first drink, my first smoke, my first dance, my first kiss, and my first fight. He said it was a hell of a night. And, and I know you're going to have a hell of a day. So I'm also minded at this time, a few years ago, we had a family that graduated 3 children on the same day. We had Peter, who got a BSc, Jane, I think it was, that got the MSc, and Michael, who got a PhD. And asked the parents, a bit cheekily, which one they loved the most. And they said, well, we love them all, but actually, we prefer Sophie because she got a job. But the truth be told, you have lived through the most challenging of times, and how you have all helped each other and risen to meet those challenges has actually been truly humbling. The impact of the pandemic and the lessons we've all learned will be with us, I think, for many years, and I pay tribute to each and every one of you and your families and friends and supporters, and indeed my staff who all lived through it together, for the way in which you have coped and how you've landed here today. Now, you know, one of the hottest topics in academia at the moment is the use of artificial intelligence and ChatGPT, and I'm sure that none of you used that during any of your assessments, correct? Yeah. I invented a new word, it's called plagiarism. Anyway, but let me tell you this, I know that up and down the country, there'll be principals and vice-chancellors who will have used ChatGPT to write part of their graduation speeches. But let me tell you this as well. ChatGPT hasn't seen your triumphs and failures. It hasn't seen the laughter and the tears. And it hasn't seen, or perhaps more appropriately heard, your social events. So how can it really address you with any meaning? And similarly, I'm sure that when you go off into your new roles, AI is going to help you, and ChatGPT will help you in practice, in clinical practice. It will help you to make better diagnosis, perhaps. And it may help you to make slightly better diagnosis, second only, of course, to the logical approach to, what is it called? Clinical decision making. There, that one, which I learned just the other day is called the Bible. Who knew? But anyway, what it won't do so well is help you deal with unusual or rare circumstances, and it certainly won't help you put an arm around a grieving owner. So, no, I believe humanity has some way to run yet. And just for the last few moments, I want to share a couple of lessons from my early career in addition to those from the President. And thank you so much, President and Chief Executive, for gracing us with your presence today. We really, really appreciate it. And what the first lesson is, please, please, please be humble. I go back to my very first day in practice. I just graduated from a different university and I thought I was the thing. I had done 5 years, I had studied hard, I had a good degree. And I thought I was going to get to do a bitch spay on my own, maybe a brain transplant, something like that. Anyway, I asked the boss, I said, give me a task, the harder the better. And he said, Stuart, I'd like you to make a cup of coffee for everybody. And I looked a bit crestfallen and said, but I've been at a fantastic university, I've done all this work, and I can tackle anything. He says, don't worry, we'll show you how the kettle works. Second also relates to my first job, and it's in Aberdeenshire. And a farmer said to me, he said, they call men or young men, boys, loons up there. He said, loon, let me tell you, if folk like you, they'll forgive you anything. And then he looked at his dead sheep and he said, but I make exceptions. So remember that being likable and being able to communicate and being the people that I know you can be will take you very far in life. The third lesson, slightly more painful, and I congratulate those of you who've won awards and got honours, and you should take that with the pride that it deserves and carry it with you through life. But I think you'll find that that will diminish through the years. And degree classifications are important, but mostly for now. And if I can actually say a few words of solace to those of you who might regard yourselves as more of a C-grade student, or even ones who failed their third-year microbiology, it is that you too one day can be principal of the Royal Veterinary College. Think about it. Fourthly, try to be true to yourselves, but also help yourself and help each other. Be your own person, be independent, find your own way. Don't follow anybody's path, of course, unless you find yourself totally lost, and then it's fine to follow somebody else's path. But recognizing that you need help is a sign of maturity. And do stay part of the communities that will surround you, your professional communities, and recognize that besides the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons, there are organizations like BVA, BVNA, and of course we are here, RVC for life, and we do mean that, RVC for life. So we've had a few H's. We've had humble, we've had human, we've had help and be helped, but most of all, be happy. That is the most important thing. Find something that you enjoy. The degrees that you now have, the qualifications that you now have, put you in an excellent position to find something at which you will excel and be a success. It's a very broad church, and I know you can find happiness and success out there. So be humble, be human, be helpful, help yourself, and be happy. But now to the final thank yous. At the front, you can't see the faces at the back, but there's some very, very big smiles. I'm certainly up there in the terrace as well. But I also know that there are some dewy eyes. It's a very emotional day. And although today is the time for celebration, it's also time for reflection. Because those folks, they remember first steps, first day at kindergarten, sports day, winning a prize, or not, leaving school, leaving home, and now here you are all grown up today as you start your professional lives. So new graduates, we've had a lot of applause so far, but I do think the biggest one should be if you wouldn't mind standing and finding your families, face your families, and give them a big round of applause and thank you, because you would not be here without them. Thank you. And we've also recognized a few select members of staff here, and really the RVC can only be what our people make it. This year we came QS ranked one. I think I've heard that somewhere else already before for the third time in a row, 4 times in 5 years. And we've got some really exciting developments on both campuses. But without our people, we would be nothing. And I'm massively grateful to all my colleagues who've done the hard work in getting you here today. And I think it would be a big round of applause for them too. So thank you on their behalf. But now I turn back to the front of the hall again. You know, you're no longer students, so behave yourselves, get home at a reasonable time, all that stuff. But you are our raison d'etre. We are a first-class research facility, we're a first-class clinical facility, but we exist because we are an educational institution. That's what makes us who we are. Now, whilst you may have chosen us because of our reputation now is very much on you. So as you go out as our newest Baronesses, please try to remember that. Although I know, looking around, joking apart, our future and our reputation is in very, very safe hands. And we look forward to working with you as your future careers develop. You're entering a profession with, or professions with great promise, with wonderful opportunities. And whatever it is you do as a veterinary nurse, as a veterinary surgeon, whether it's in education, in research, in industry, in government and practice, society needs you, really needs you. Professions need you, and believe me, you can change the world. You will change the world. We're depending upon it. So finally, class of 2023, thank you so much for all the things that you've done for us. The social events, your contribution to the societies, the sports you've done, the work for charities that you do, for the final year review, and thank you so much for allowing me to fulfill a lifetime ambition of doing the Hugh Grant dad dance down the stairwell. Thank you. I won't be doing it again. So it takes me back to my school days. We had a maths teacher who came in and he said, educational techniques have changed, admittedly. He said, boys, you're so stupid, you don't know how stupid you are. And he said, and I'll prove it. He said, stand up if you think you're stupid. We weren't that daft. But the lad sitting next to me was a chap called Tex. He was American. He didn't come from Texas, but we called him Tex anyway. And very slowly, to my abject horror, as the rest of us sat still, he slowly got to his feet. And the maths teacher looked at me and said, Michael, he said, you don't really think you're stupid, do you? And he said, in a southern drawl, no, sir, but I couldn't see you standing there all alone. So I recognize I'm the only one standing here now. So look, you've made it. The tassel was worth the hassle. Good one, yeah. And remember, you're entering a world where you will never be too far away from another RVC graduate. So come and join us as we celebrate in the QE2 across the road. But if there's one thing to remember from today, here we go. Remember, wherever you go and whatever you do, you'll always be an RVC graduate. Congratulations, everybody.
You know what they say, never appear with animals or children. I want to amend it and say, never appear with animals, children, Stuart, Reid, or RVC vets. That's the end of our formal assembly today. It's time to celebrate. It's been a huge privilege to be part of this with you and your families and your friends and supporters and with the staff who've got you here. Go forth, take our name with you, and most of all, my very, very best personal wishes for whatever you do in your career. The world awaits you, but a glass of champagne does as well. So let's go.